this is Dr. Sella here. Now, what you got to understand about running the Flexbone Triple Option offense, and it's held this way for decades. Eventually, once you figure this out, it's going to set you free like very few things will as a football coach. The bottom line, coaches, is you always have a built-in game plan. So the days are over of watching endless film on your opponent. Because it doesn't matter if you're going to play Buffalo High School, the University of Buffalo, or the Buffalo Bills. Your game plan's always going to be the same. Because when you are David and you're facing your Goliaths, you got one plan, and that is to cancel the defensive line by triple teaming, reading, and evading them. Your mission is your mission is your mission. Doesn't matter who you play. When you just always assume you're an underdog, you're going to have a built-in game plan. That's what happened with Paul Johnson and his disciples. So, right now, in 2024, the best way to run the offense, I made a video on this a little under 2 weeks ago, and for those of you who watch every single video, you're going to hear me repeat myself again. Don't really care. It's time to become a client if you haven't already. Okay, so you're going to run the zone dive. You're going to run the triple team, which is called the zone dive. If you get 4 yards, you're going to run zone dive again. Doesn't matter if you're playing Buffalo High, University of Buffalo, Buffalo State University, or the Buffalo Bills. You're going to run zone dive. You're going to get 4 yards and you're going to run zone dive again. If you don't get 4 yards on zone dive, you're going to run follow or kick unless the C-gap player takes the dive. If so, you run midline triple option. So let me repeat that for you. Run zone dive, get 4 yards, run zone dive again. Don't get 4 yards on zone dive, you're going to run follow or kick unless the C-gap player takes the dive. If so, you're going to run midline triple option. This is because if the C-gap player doesn't take the dive, he's the quarterback player. So you're going to load him with the follow, which means you're going to kick him and run up inside so he misfits on the quarterback to whom he's assigned. If you run kick, you down block him, so you load him on the other ear, and the quarterback runs outside of that, so he misfits yet again. Now, if that same C-gap player, the 4 or 5 technique, however you want to define them, takes the dive, well then, you're going to run midline triple option, because now you know the defense is reacting to your zone dive. And it's going to allow the quarterback to be able to pull or pitch the ball on midline triple option. So what ends up happening is you get those explosive plays on the edge. When you run midline triple option, the ideal thing you want is to get the ball pitched. You don't want to hand the ball off, because why would you do that when you can just run zone dive and triple team and run right behind the triple team? So, you run zone dive, you get 4 yards, you run zone dive again. Don't get 4 yards on zone dive, you run follow or kick unless the C-gap player takes the dive. If so, run midline triple option. That's your built-in game plan. So what's the point of watching endless hours of film of your opponent? Now you're going to say, well, don't we have to see what defense they're in? Coach, we're going to get a 4-4 this week. Listen, if you haven't figured out by now, this offense is built on blocking geometry. You have to practice against goal line fronts, 8-man fronts. You got to practice going against gap 8, 7 diamond, 6-5 goal line. You got to practice against every alignment possible. You got to practice against bear defense, eagle defense, triple stack. You know, you got to go against that stuff. You got to go against every alignment. Who cares what they run on defense? What does it matter? You don't run a normal offense. You run a unique offense. They're probably going to come out in some junk because they're going to think if we can just do this, we got them. We got them good. That's why you got to be good at everything. Zone dive, mid, triple, toss, follow, kick. Got to be good at everything. So you're not concerned with what they do on defense, because from the start of camp through the season, you're practicing against everything. Gap 8, 7 diamond, 6-5, bear, eagle, triple stack. Then you get into, 50 and 4-3 and 6-2 and 4-4. Here's the thing. If you can block goal line fronts, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want, so go block goal line fronts all the time. You'll get better faster. I've said this to so many people. There's a nickel's worth of free advice for you right there. But here's the thing. As I'm grinding away here on the exercise bike, here's the thing. It's a built-in game plan. You make your opponent nameless and faceless. Doesn't matter if it's Buffalo High, University of Buffalo, or the Buffalo Bills. It's a built-in game plan. This sets you free as a football coach because it makes football the ultimate internal conflict. Focus on your team, not their team. The bottom line is this: if you can't get zone dive working, you're probably going to freaking lose anyway, unless God wills you to win somehow. Air Force wins when they get zone dive going. Period. What did Air Force do the last 4 games of the year to go 4-0? They ran zone dive 25 times a game. They persisted, and thus they ended the season 4-0 and are ready to explode in 2025 in a good way. So, built-in game plan. Run zone dive, get 4 yards, run zone dive again. Don't get 4 yards on zone dive, run, follow, or kick, unless the C-gap player takes the dive. If so, run midline triple option. Now, if they blitz, you toss it. If they blitz, you toss it. Because if you toss it real wide and you evade the defensive line, there's nobody to scrape over the top to make the tackle. That's why Paul Johnson put it in over 20 years ago. But we were running it back in the 90s when we were running Flexbone in New Jersey. Now, 3rd and long, 4th and long, you got to score now, or a secondary member flies up. You're going to run switch, verge, or boot. You're going to throw the ball. Not hard, guys. It's a built-in game plan. I'm doing it to save your marriage, build your relationship with your kids, vastly improve your mental health, and get you to stop worrying. Stop worrying. So many coaches, they grind for the sake of grinding. What I've learned about a lot of football coaches, they go hang out somewhere and they don't really accomplish anything, but because they're not at home sitting on their fat can, they consider it grinding because they're not at home. But I'd rather you just do what Paul Johnson did. Focus on your team. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want to watch even less film, you just got to reset your offense every week and reteach the first day of practice every week. Reset the alignment, stance, assignments, techniques. You keep reteaching. You just do it faster every week. Because here's the thing. Maybe on game film you made a bunch of mistakes. Well, everything matters. So everything matters. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, and I want you to listen carefully. If you want to fix mistakes from the previous game, 80% of the time the mistakes happen with the center and the 2 guards and the cylinder. If you fix the cylinder, you fix your problems. It's the second most important thing I've learned in 4 decades of running the offense. In teaching the offense to other people, the second most important thing I learned, if you fix your cylinder, you fix everybody else. So like when you're watching film of your team playing, watch the guards in the center. Because generally that's where the problems are. You'll fix 80% of the problems if you can get them a grade on film where they did their job. Watch how successful that play usually is. Just telling you guys, I'm trying to save you time, I'm trying to save your marriage, I'm trying to get your mental health back, I'm trying to get you to spend more time with your kids, I'm trying to get you to breathe during the season. Because the bottom line is more work isn't better, better work is better. And the work you got to put in is running play after play after play of what you're going to do in a game so players think with their feet, they can't get it wrong, and utilize Paul Johnson's live bullet drill to do it. Because all I've done the last 15 years is produce winners, testimonials, success stories. And I can help you. So that's the built-in game plan. When you're ready to start winning, call me, 570-332-0265, 570-332-0265, and go to tripleoptionfootball.com/testimonials so you can see all the success stories from the camps and the academy. I just keep helping people win. Is it worth $997 to become a client, join the online academy, and improve your win total? Scobie, Montana did. They went from 2 wins to the state semifinals. Quest in New Mexico put their testimonial up today. They won as many games as the previous 8 years combined. And they did it with a first-year head coach. It's not an accident. Trust the system. It'll be the last system you'll ever run. And it'll improve your quality of life in more ways than just winning. See you in the next video. Talk soon.